All right, let's just get right into it. If you think you understand globalization, you might want to buckle up. The old playbook? It's being completely torn up and rewritten, thanks to two massive forces colliding, AI and Web3. Today, we're going to unpack how this fusion is launching a totally new era of global business.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. We're not talking about a few new apps or a minor upgrade here. This is a fundamental rewiring of how companies work, connect, and compete across borders. It's a seismic shift, for sure.
And it's happening at an unbelievable pace. To put some numbers to it, the global Web3 market is on track to explode to over $139 billion by 2027. That's a growth rate of more than 50% every single year. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a tidal wave.
Exactly. So, in this explainer, we're going to lay it all out for you. We'll start with the three core pillars that are holding up this new era. Then, we'll zoom in on where this is all taking shape, and spoiler alert, Hong Kong is a huge piece of that puzzle. And finally, we'll give you a practical four-step playbook for how companies can actually make this leap and become the ones who write the rules.
So let's get to the heart of it. This whole transformation really stands on three foundational pillars that are changing everything about how global business works. And the first one, well, it tackles a problem as old as trade itself: trust. Right. Pillar number one is what we call digital trust. You know, in the old days, every international deal needed layers of banks, lawyers, and middlemen just to make sure nobody got ripped off. Now, AI and Web3 are building a whole new system. Think of a smart contract like a super smart vending machine. Once you put the money in and make your selection, the product comes out. It's automatic, guaranteed. It's trust, built with code.
And the difference this makes is just wow. Look at this. Traditional transaction costs could eat up 5, even 8% of a deal's value. With AI and Web3, you're looking at basically zero, and the time it takes. We're going from, 15 to 30 days of waiting around, down to less than 48 hours. It's a total game changer.
And this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. Let me give you a real-world example. There's an agricultural trading company in Shenzhen. They started using a Web3 platform based in Hong Kong. Instantly, their payment cycle went from a month to just 2 days. The number of disputes they had dropped by 70%, and their total costs were slashed by 60%. The impact is just undeniable. Okay, so Pillar 1 automates trust. That's huge. That brings us to Pillar 2, making the companies themselves smarter and more transparent. This is all about what we call algorithmic collaboration. It means using things like DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, to run things with code and community votes, instead of closed-door board meetings. It's about making operations intelligent. And the third pillar is about getting the resources you need to grow. Finding the right people and the right investors has always been a massive headache, especially when you're going global. Well, AI and Web3 are basically creating one giant, frictionless global marketplace for talent and for capital. The barriers are just crumbling. And you want a crazy example of this in action? Get this. A DeFi project in Singapore used an AI tool to find the perfect investors for them. And it didn't point them to Silicon Valley. It connected them with two funds in the Middle East. Now, the time from that first AI-driven intro to having $20 million in the bank, just 45 days. I mean, a few years ago, that would have been completely unimaginable. So, okay, we have this new way to trust each other, a new way to run our companies, and a new way to find people and money. But the big question is, where is this future actually being built? Well, one of the key answers to that question is Hong Kong. It is deliberately positioning itself to be the bridge between China and this new global reality. And a huge reason why is its super smart approach to regulation. They have this dual-track system. On one side, they are very serious about compliance and protecting investors. You got to go through a clear, step-by-step process to get licensed. But on the other side, they have something called a regulatory sandbox, which basically lets innovative companies test out wild new ideas in a safe, controlled way. It's the best of both worlds, safety and innovation.
And this balanced strategy has brought in the heavy hitters. You've got absolute titans of the industry setting up shop there. I'm talking about companies like Enmoca Brands, a leader in the metaverse valued at nearly $6 billion, and Hashkey Group, managing over $1.2 billion in digital assets. These are not small-time players, these are the giants building the future.
And they are definitely not alone.
The numbers really tell the story here. As of right now, in 2024, Hong Kong is home to more than 200 Web3 companies, and together they've pulled in over $3 billion in funding. That's not just a trend, that's a true critical mass of talent, money, and innovation all coming together in one place.
Okay, so we've talked about the what, the three pillars, and the where, Hong Kong. Now let's get to the most important part, the how. How does a regular traditional business actually make this leap into this new world of globalization? Well, there's a pretty clear four-stage path.
It all starts with strategy. You use AI to scan the global landscape and map out your perfect path. Step 2 is where you build your trust assets, implementing those smart contracts we talked about. Third is data, leveraging all that public blockchain data for some serious competitive intel. And finally, step 4 is connection, where you plug into those global networks of capital and talent.
And for the companies that actually follow this framework, the results are just off the charts. We're seeing average efficiency gains of 150%, a 60% drop in operating costs, and a 300% increase in how fast they can respond to the market. The ROI on this kind of transformation is just massive.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most important point. This whole fusion of AI and Web3, it isn't just about finding a cheaper, faster way to enter new markets, it's about changing the entire game.
Let that one sink in for a minute. The companies that figure this out over the next 3 to 5 years, they won't just be playing by the old rules of globalization better than anyone else. No, they will be the ones writing the new rules for everybody else to follow.
So, what's the bottom line? What should you do with all this? Here's a simple action plan. First, act now. Start building these capabilities. Second, follow that 4-stage path we laid out. Third, don't try to boil the ocean. Pick a few high-impact projects to get going. Build partnerships. And finally, never ever stop learning, because this space moves fast.
Look, this fusion of AI and Web3 is a once-in-a-generation shift. The technology is here, the roadmap is getting clearer by the day, and hubs like Hong Kong are rolling out the red carpet. So the only real question left is the one you see on your screen, your new globalization path. Where will it begin?